Zeppelins, those massive cigar-shaped airships, once ruled the skies with grace and grandeur. They were the stuff of wonder, symbols of human ambition to conquer the air in ways that planes couldn't quite match in their early days. With a sense of romance, adventure, and futurism, these airborne leviathans promised to revolutionize travel in the early 20th century. Yet today, Zeppelins are remembered largely for their catastrophic failures, like the tragic explosion of the Hindenburg. However, there's a growing niche of history enthusiasts who also connect Zeppelins to alternative theories of ancient technology, notably the idea of Tartaria and its enigmatic role in the historical narrative of airship construction. But first, let's go back to where it all began, the dawn of the Zeppelin. The story of the Zeppelin begins with Count Ferdinand von Zeppelin, a German military officer whose ambition was sparked by witnessing French balloons used for reconnaissance during the Franco-Prussian War in 1870. His vision, however, wasn't just for balloons tethered to the ground or small aircraft, but a rigid, steerable airship that could sustain long-distance travel. Von Zeppelin's design was unique. Unlike previous airships, which were little more than balloons with engines, his featured a rigid skeleton made of aluminum or duralumin. This internal structure allowed the Zeppelin to maintain its shape and house multiple gas cells inside. The airship would be filled with hydrogen gas, chosen for its lightweight nature to provide lift. A network of gondolas attached beneath the structure would house engines, passengers, and cargo. It wasn't until 1900, after years of planning and fundraising, that his first successful airship, the LZ-1, took flight over Lake Constance in Germany. Though it flew only for 18 minutes, it demonstrated the possibilities of a new era in air travel. In 1906, the LZ-2 took flight, followed by more sophisticated models, each a step toward what would eventually be the zenith of airship technology. By 1910, Zeppelins weren't just military marvels, they had entered commercial aviation. The German company DLAG, Deutsche Luftschifffahrtsaktiengesellschaft, was founded to operate Zeppelins for passenger travel, making it the world's first airline. Between 1910 and the outbreak of World War I in 1914, DLAG operated over 1,500 flights and transported around 35,000 passengers without a single fatal accident. These airships were luxurious and spacious, offering passengers an unmatched view of the world below. In many ways, this was the precursor to modern aviation as we know it, yet in a form that evoked something far more leisurely and grandiose. Passengers could sip coffee or champagne in the sky while crossing continents. The appeal of the Zeppelin was its sheer size and range. Early planes were cramped and could travel only short distances. In contrast, Zeppelins were like floating hotels, able to carry passengers and cargo across great distances at a speed of about 80 kilometers per hour, 50 miles per hour. A considerable pace for the time. A typical flight from Europe to America by Zeppelin took only 2 to 3 days. When World War I broke out in 1914, the German military saw immediate use for Zeppelins. These airships were deployed as bombers and scouts, flying over enemy lines to gather intelligence or drop explosives on key military and civilian targets. One of the most famous Zeppelin raids took place over London, where these massive airships loomed like silent predators, dropping bombs that brought terror to the city. However, Zeppelins proved vulnerable. Anti-aircraft guns and fighter planes could easily puncture the hydrogen-filled airships, leading to dramatic explosions and crashes. By the end of the war, the military application of Zeppelins had waned. However, the idea of using these magnificent ships for peaceful travel was still alive. In the post-war years, Zeppelins enjoyed a brief renaissance. The Graf Zeppelin, launched in 1928, became the world's most famous airship and marked the peak of Zeppelin design. This airship made over 590 flights, covering over 1,000,000 miles. One of its most celebrated achievements was a world tour, including a crossing of the Atlantic from Germany to the United States, hailed as a breakthrough in international travel. What set Zeppelins apart was the luxury they offered. Unlike the cramped, turbulent planes of the time, Zeppelins provided passengers with a smooth ride, spacious cabins, dining halls, and panoramic views. The Hindenburg, launched in 1936, was the largest Zeppelin ever built, capable of carrying over 70 passengers in the utmost comfort. But as with all grand experiments, the fate of Zeppelins was not destined to soar forever. The catastrophic explosion of the Hindenburg on May 6, 1937, is one of the most iconic and haunting events in the history of air travel. As the airship attempted to land in New Jersey after a transatlantic voyage, it burst into flames, killing 36 people. The cause of the disaster remains debated, with theories ranging from a static electricity spark igniting the hydrogen to sabotage. Regardless of the cause, the explosion effectively ended the Zeppelin era. The dangers of hydrogen, combined with the rapid advancements in airplane technology, made airships obsolete almost overnight. While planes were faster, more efficient, and eventually safer, they could not match the romantic grandeur of the Zeppelins. In recent years, the fascination with Zeppelins has resurfaced in some alternative history circles, most notably those tied to the theory of Tartaria. Tartaria, according to these theories, was an advanced civilization with its own lost technologies, existing before modern recorded history. Proponents of the Tartaria theory suggest that Zeppelins, or at least airship technology, were not the products of modern ingenuity, but rediscoveries of ancient technology that had been hidden or forgotten. Some alternative historians point to old maps, architecture, and photographs from the 19th and early 20th centuries, which appear to show Zeppelins, or at least structures they claim were used for airships, above cities, or in designs that suggest air travel was far more common than mainstream history acknowledges. They argue that this points to a technologically advanced Tartarian society that may have used Zeppelins or similar craft as part of their daily life and transportation infrastructure. The Tartarian airship theory taps into the broader narrative that suggests the deliberate erasure of a once great global civilization that was technologically superior to our current understanding. Proponents argue that the narrative surrounding Zeppelins, their sudden rise and fall, and the quick dominance of airplane technology may be part of a larger historical cover-up. While these ideas remain controversial and lack solid academic backing, they reflect a human yearning to explain anomalies in history and architecture through a lens of lost knowledge and hidden technologies. The theory that Zeppelins were part of Tartaria in this context adds an additional layer of intrigue to the story of these remarkable airships. Could the sudden emergence of Zeppelins, their rapid adoption for civilian and military use, and their equally swift decline be indicative of a rediscovered technology rather than a modern invention? For those who believe in the Tartaria narrative, the answer is yes. Whether tied to the heights of engineering in the early 20th century or to speculative tales of ancient civilizations, Zeppelins remain a symbol of human ambition to conquer the skies. Their story is a mix of innovation, triumph, luxury, and tragedy. Though they are no longer a part of modern travel, Zeppelins have left an indelible mark on the history of aviation, inspiring generations to dream of elegant air travel that connects continents in style. For many, Zeppelins are more than just relics of the past. They represent a lost future, one where air travel might have been slower, but infinitely more luxurious, perhaps even tied to advanced technologies lost to history. As we look up at the sky, we can't help but imagine a time when giant airships floated majestically above us, marking a different path that aviation might have taken.